Are there any good books out there on race and polyamory? I'm here with Kevin A. Patterson from polyrolemodels.tumblr.com. I don't want to mess that up. Polyrolemodels.tumblr.com. And I'm Cathy from the Intimacy Dojo. And I hear that you are writing a book on race and poly, and I'm really excited. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe a couple of years ago, I started working. I communicate all the time with Rebecca Hiles of Frisky Ferry,
Mm-hmm.
and at some point after Poly Role Model started, she said, "Hey, you should write a workshop for capitalism."
Oh yeah.
And I said, "No, like that's sort of big name."
She's pretty smart. You should follow her advice.
You know?
Yeah.
So she convinced me to write, and I started writing basically just about my personal experiences. I lived in the Philadelphia area, and there were so many times where I would go to meetups and events, happy hours, mixers, and I'd be the only person of color there, the only black person there, the only black man there, or there'd be like 3 or 4, and they'd be all people that I knew or who came with me in my car, and I started writing about that in my personal experiences, about how many barriers for entry people of color can find when trying to enter their polyamorous communities. And I made this workshop. It's mostly me off the cuff, just talking about my own experiences and inviting people to tell me about their experiences.
Yeah.
So as I was writing it, as I was workshopping it, it was suggested to me to turn it into a book.
Yeah.
And so I started writing it out as a book, and I try to keep the same format where I tell a lot of my own personal stories, not just about like these barriers for entry in terms of polyamory. Like from my perspective, I bring in a lot of people to tell me about their perspective as well. So there's a lot of people's stories just telling, and then I explain how fetishization works. I explain how othering works. I understand how class can be. I explain how class can be a barrier. How being tokenized can be a barrier.
Yeah.
I explain like white feminism and how that becomes an issue, because like not hating on any of these books, but when you look at a lot of the books that people claim are like these Bibles of polyamory, and they're quality books. I've read almost all of them. They're almost all written by white folks. They're almost all written by white women.
Yeah.
You know, and that sort of limits the perspective. And
absolutely.
People don't take the time to notice that, like, if everything is coming from a singular perspective, there's a lot of people who are being boxed out, even if you don't mean for that to be the case.
Yeah.
So I started writing about all of that. So I've got a book that's coming out. It's called Love's Not Colorblind. It releases in April on Thorn Tree Press.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so needed. Wow. Thank you for putting that together, creating that for people. I'm signing up for a copy.
What I didn't realize was when I started doing my workshop, I expected to be running into a lot of people who were speaking about race and polyamory. I figured and there just wasn't. Like when I went to CatalystCon the first time, I was the only person speaking about polyamory specifically at my first CatalystCon.
Wow.
I've been to conferences where no one was speaking about race. It wasn't until I went to Poly Dallas Millennium did I run into multiple people speaking about polyamory and race at the same time.
Wow.
And that's not to say no one is doing the same work as I'm doing, but it's so few and far between. Like when I started writing the book, Love's Not Colorblind, I thought I better finish this thing fast because there are 5 more books coming down that are going to be about the same thing. I've got to beat from the press. I've talked to a lot of people, and everyone's like, "Oh wow, I haven't even thought of this idea."
Oh wow.
I am the guy writing the book, and that to me, and while I'm okay with that from I'm glad I'm putting this out there standpoint, I want there to be more than just me. I want there to be, part of my Poly Role Models platform is putting people up on my shoulders and giving everyone a boost. Like I want to extend the voices of marginalized people all over the place. So to find out that I'm one of very few people doing this thing, talking this talk, that is kind of stunning for me.
Yeah, well, I so appreciate your generosity and then putting, like, it's a lot of, I know it's, writing books is, for me at least, really challenging, and it's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if I already have a subject matter that I was well versed in and like a publisher that was ready to go, I wouldn't have written a book. I'd be playing video games.
Yeah. Can we come back? I'd love to talk a little bit about the barriers to entry, if you're willing to share a little bit without giving away too much of your book.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. If you have thoughts, questions, comments, please leave them below. And Kevin, where can they find out? Where can they sign up to find out when your book comes out and be any announcements?
You can keep up at thorntreepress.com. My book's out in April of 2018. There's a few books ahead of it, so like I don't think the advertising campaign has really started
Not yet.
Yeah, but Thorntree Press, and keep up with Poly Role Models on Facebook, on Tumblr, on Twitter, on Instagram, because I'm definitely going to be broadcasting the hell out of it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kevin. We'll be back in a few minutes.